Hi all, how you doing? Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. So finally it has happened. The spot ETF has been approved, or the SEC seem to call it the ETP. Okay, so yeah, finally it's been approved, and this time it isn't a fake out. So if you look at the Bitcoin chart, this was the fake out here. It went straight up, and then the SEC Twitter then said, or Gary Gensler said, no, that's not true. We haven't approved it, and it went straight down again. Okay, but today we finally got it approved around about here, and we had some sort of steady green candles. So we didn't have a kind of green candle like that. So I must admit, I was expecting a candle, you know, a bit more than this. I'll be honest with you. What we've had 45.5 up to 47.5, so about a 2,000 gain, but over an hour and a bit. So it's quite a slow sort of progress up. And then we've had sort of dumpage, and we're now down at 46, whatever it is, 46.6. Okay, but it is what it is. Okay, so where do we go from here? So that's just the approval, remember? Okay, so the money isn't really pouring in now. Okay, it's just been approved. So the only thing that's going to really move the market, okay, so this is kind of retail buying that on the approval, okay, and then what's happening then is retail are thinking, oh, I'll take my profit, or people are taking profit, and then you get the dumpage. That's always going to happen, okay. Me personally, I think I'm just going to hold, okay, because I think tomorrow you're going to get more movement, and over the next few days and weeks and months, you're going to get gradual movement as more money comes into the market. If we have a look at Coinbase, not Coinbase, Coin Market Cap, should I say? Okay, so what moves the Bitcoin price? So Bitcoin, so this is the market cap. This is all the money that is poured into Bitcoin, right? It is 913 billion, okay, not million, 913 billion dollars. Okay, so obviously it's been over, I say obviously, it's been over 1 trillion, over a trillion before when it was at 64,000. Okay, but what we're saying here is that all the Bitcoins, the 19 million Bitcoins, are each worth 46,000. And when you times that number by that number, you get that number, okay? And that's what the market cap is. So that's how it's very simple, to be honest with you, how you work these things out, okay? So in order for this to go up, more money has to be poured into the market cap, okay? So if, for example, for simple math, so if we look at 911 billion, if we look at if 91 billion was added to the market cap, so that would be like 10%, then the price of Bitcoin would go up 10%. It's as straightforward as that. And that's what moves the market. Now, we don't know exactly if the Bitcoin price has been priced in or not. Okay. It could be that these companies like BlackRock have been purchasing their Bitcoin early doors. They could have been purchasing their Bitcoin when it was like 20,000 and things like that, and then selling it to people for 46,000, stuff like that. And obviously they're making a big markup then. But traditionally, what these companies are going to do is they're going to buy Bitcoin at a certain price. Let's say, for argument's sake, they buy it at 46,000. They'll then sell it at a markup price of like $30 difference. Okay, so all these companies are now vying for people's trade. All right, now some people are offering like 0%. Okay, difference. Okay, so you buy it for 46,000. And they'll buy it for 46,000. There'll be no markup difference, okay? Because they're just trying to get people on board onto their product, okay? So early doors, it might be that these companies are going to compete. They might start off by saying there's going to be $100 difference. We'll buy it at 46,000, but we'll sell it to you for 46,100, okay? And that could happen, but because they're all competing with each other, it could be that some offer it at no markup at all. You know, they buy it for 46,000 and sell it to you for 46,000 because they want your business. They want your long-term business. All right. So tomorrow is when you're going to get traders, you know, all the individual people who are working for themselves, let's say, um, start calling BlackRock up and stuff like that, saying I've got a customer and that kind of thing, and putting people on, and the ants will be going, they'll be on the phones, you know, it'd be like Wolf of Wall Street, okay, and that's when the orders start coming in. So BlackRock and all of those will have a certain amount of money, a certain amount of Bitcoin that they may have already bought at lower prices, in which case that won't affect the new market cap. Okay, it's not going to increase the market cap because it's already paid for. Okay, that'll be stuff like over the counter then Bitcoins. In other words, it's not through an exchange or anything like that. It's not going to move the market. So you have these orders which are over the counter. In other words, it's like how can you say it? It's waffling here. It's not going to be counted because it's already done. The deal's already done. Okay, the money's sort of priced into the market already. Okay. Anyway, so that is the Bitcoin. So I don't think it's really gonna. We've obviously had the pump because of the news, and then a little bit of a drawback. And tomorrow and onwards, we'll see money coming into the market all the time as people put the market in. Anyway, let's go head over to the SEC. So January the 10th, we've got 4 statements here. We've got I'll leave you the link. Okay, so I'll copy that and I'll leave you the link in the video. So look in the description. I'll probably pin it to the first comment as well. So we've got a statement from Gary Gensler, which is a little bit boring, but let's open it anyway. Statement of the approval. I'm not going to read all this out. Today, the Commission approved the listing and trading of a number of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products, ETPs. They call them ETPs rather than ETFs. I don't understand that. I think they just like to be different. Okay. So then he just goes on, rambles. Well, we approved the listing and trading of certain spot ETP shares today. We did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Investors should remain cautious about the myriad risks associated with Bitcoin and products whose value is tied to crypto. It's funny how he did a course teaching. So if you didn't know, Gary Gensler taught at, I think, at MIT. Okay, at a university anyway. I can't remember which one. I think it was MIT, but I don't know. He taught cryptocurrency. No doubt he'll have run into Bitcoin. So he's sort of saying here, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. That is so weird. You know, he's ran a course on cryptocurrency. Weird. Okay, so this is a statement from Hester Pierce. So now she's pro Bitcoin. So she's just used this reference here, out down spot, which is obviously from Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, when she gets blood on her hands and she can't wash the blood away. Okay, so yeah, the Scottish play. Out damn spot, I say. Statement of omnibus approval. So she's kind of happy that it's finally happened. But I just want to come to her point at the end. So, although this is a time for reflection, it's also a time for a celebration. I'm not celebrating Bitcoin or Bitcoin-related products. What one regulator thinks about Bitcoin is irrelevant. I am celebrating the right of American investors to express their thoughts on Bitcoin by buying and selling spot Bitcoin, ETPs. And I am celebrating perseverance of market participants in trying to bring to market a product they think investors want, which they do want, okay? I commend applicants' decade-long persistence in the face of the Commission's obstruction. So basically, the SEC were basically against this all the time. They dragged their heels for ages on this. This is a statement from Caroline Crenshaw, and she's against Bitcoin. So here we go, against the ETPs. Statement dissenting from approval of proposed rule changes to list and trade spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. Today's Securities Exchange Commission approved a series of proposed rule changes that will allow the listing and trading of Bitcoin-based products, national securities exchanges. These commission actions are unsound and ahistorical. And worse, they put us on a wayward path that could further sacrifice investor protection. I cannot agree that these actions serve either our statutory or foundational investor protection mandates, and as such, I dissent from today's order. Hey, I mean, this is after their tweet from, anyway. So there, she's got a long statement here. One of the things she mentions is, I didn't read it all, but she mentions about wash trading, fraud and manipulation. So she's got here fraud and oh bloody hell, what's going on? Fraud and manipulation. Spot Bitcoin markets are subject to fraud and manipulation. Yeah, well, we saw that yesterday from the SEC. One form of manipulation that appears to be pervasive in the crypto markets, and specifically Bitcoin markets, is wash trading. Okay, so wash trading is where you basically buy the coin and sell the coin at the same price. Now, the thing is, this wash trading term, that's been around for years. Wash trading is come from wash trading has come from normal trading on normal stock exchanges. Okay, so it's like, you're accusing crypto of being manipulative and stuff like that, but the term wash trading is from normal, NASDAQ. This happens on the NASDAQ, this happens on the FTSE 100. It happens on all trading platforms selling anything. So it's like, just annoying. So she's got a long thing. If you really want to read her, talks about grayscale, future ETPs and spot ETPs are not the same products. Okay, so I might read this when I want to go to sleep sometime, I think, but it's pretty long. No doubt someone will break this down a bit more, but I'm a bit too, I've had a couple of pints and I don't really feel like breaking this down at this moment in time. So that's her speech. And what's this guy got to say? Mark, I'm not sure if he's for it or against it. Statement regarding the commissioner's approval, blah, blah, blah. So he wants to talk about it. To me, that's commission long anticipated approval of applicants to list and trade shares. While I concur with the approval of spot Bitcoin ETP applications under the standards set forth, I have strong concerns with three aspects of the order. So basically, he's happy with it, but he's got a few niggles, okay? And so I guess he wanted to say something about it. All right. And you can read his stuff there. So I'll leave a link to that. But I won't worry too much about the price of Bitcoin at the moment. It's not really important. It's the long term, money's going to pour into this. Okay. If you look at pensions and stuff like that. So if we look at like top pensions, let's have a look. Oh no, maybe not. Let's type in biggest pensions. Biggest. That's it. Pensions are probably not right. Let's try this maybe. All right, no, that's asset managers. Not now, whatever that is. I had a list of largest pension sizes. Something like that. Ah, there we go. This is the one. So Japan. World's top pension funds. So world's top pension funds. See, the largest assets fall in 20 years. So these assets under management have been falling. So now they've got an option potentially in the US anyway to put some of it into Bitcoin. Top 300 largest pension funds have seen assets suffer a 13% correction in 2022. This 2020 fall is the first annual drop since 2018, on par with the decline in 2008. Okay. I think we had a list somewhere. Oh, here we go. So this is the government pension of Japan. Okay, this is in the millions, so that is 1.4 trillion. Is that right? Yeah, so you got to add 6 noughts onto that. So that's 448 billion. So that's 1.4 trillion. Norway, government pension fund of Norway, bloody hell. 1.3 trillion, and then there's a big drop down. 700 million. 700 billion, not trillion, million. Okay. So typically with these kind of pensions, what they tend to do is sometimes they can allocate like 1% of their funds into something. They're never going to put in like 10% or 20% into anything. Okay. Okay, but what they can do is they can start allocating small amounts, maybe 0.5% to Bitcoin. So they're more likely with this ETF, ETP, ETF, whatever you want to call it, they're now more likely to put their money into Bitcoin. Okay. So imagine if like this sort of put in 0.5%. Okay. What's 0.5%? So 1%. So 1.4 trillion. So that is 10% is 144 billion. And then 1% is, what do you think? Have I got this right? Have I done the maths right? 1,448 billion. So 144 billion is 10%. 14 billion, right, would be 1%. Okay. So that's what you got to think about. If the top asset management puts 1% in, that would be 14 billion. But that's only one pension fund. But it is the biggest of it. So if you think about 14 billion goes into that, that's the percentage change. So you put 14 billion into 911, add that on. What's 14 billion out of 911? 14 out of 911. 14 divided by 911. We're just doing some basic maths here, guys. So times that by 100. So it's 1.5%. So if the world's top pension put in 1% of their money, which is about 14 billion, that would move Bitcoin price by 1.5%. That's right, isn't it? 1.5%. So 1.5% is whatever that is. 1.5 times 46,000. 1 minute. 1.5 divided by 100 times 46,000. So you get a move of like $690 in the Bitcoin price. Okay. But then after a while, they don't put, so they might start off with 0.5%. They might move it up to 1%. They might then move it up to 2% and then 5%. So that's what I've been heard. People start off with 1% or 0.5%, and they sort of move it up potentially up to 5% if it's a really good, if they really feel positive about it. So you've obviously got all these pension funds. So these are the top 20. If you just think about how many pension funds there are in the world, if all of these pension funds start investing into Bitcoin, you put in 1% of their assets into it, okay, then it all adds up. And you got all these individual rich people, okay. There's like loads of millionaires and billionaires in America who are too scared to hold their own Bitcoin. Okay. So when these rich individuals in America start buying Bitcoin, they don't want to hold it themselves. They don't trust themselves to hold it. So I mean, we hold our Bitcoin. We kind of trust ourselves to some extent, or we leave it on Binance or Coinbase or something like that. These people don't trust themselves to hold it because they're probably going to buy like 100 Bitcoin or something like that. Some of these people are that rich, and they don't want they don't want to hold it. They don't want to lose it. They want someone else to be in charge of it so they can blame somebody else if it gets lost. Okay. But it's not also about blame. I mean, no doubt they'll have to be insured and stuff like that if they lose it, I'm guessing. Okay. Anyway, I've rambled enough. That's my thoughts on the Bitcoin ETP, ETF, the approval of it. But I think the real work starts tomorrow. The real price movements is going to start from tomorrow, when you're going to start hearing these, these stories about so-and-so's put so much money into this. This government pension scheme has put so much into this. Okay. We'll see. It's all good. It's all exciting news anyway.